Hello everyone, this is Jeremy Donham back again with LegalNoggin. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what is discrimination. Now we've talked about disability discrimination in the past and have got into some of the specifics about disability discrimination, but a lot of times there's different types of discrimination that people can experience in the workplace, and a lot of times these issues might be related to the fact of your gender. Whether it's a woman who is experiencing issues with pay or equal pay, a man who is experiencing issues in the workplace regarding his gender is a possibility too. We see a lot of that, and sometimes we see that in the context of the issue of the gay issue here, bisexual, those types of matters come up in the workplace. A lot of people are experiencing discrimination of all types. And so I wanted to really get in and talk about some of the specifics about these types of discrimination. Race is another area that sometimes is really people are dealing with those issues as well. So I wanted to sort of talk about a lot of that today. So one of the things I wanted to get into is the question of what really is discrimination. What in the workplace, in the context of the workplace, what is discrimination? Okay, so what happens a lot of times is there might be something called subtle discrimination in the workplace. We see this a lot of times in race cases where individuals may be passed by because of their race. They're not getting a promotion. They're not getting the positions that they're requesting or applying for. I want to make it clear to you that if you are dealing with issues of race, you want to be sure to communicate with your employer. You don't want to keep that stuff to yourself. It happens a lot of times where individuals will they just either are afraid to communicate with their employer, or when they go to the employer, they may feel like they're being rebuffed. The first thing you have to do is you have to communicate with your employer about the issues that you're confronting. So if race is part of it, sometimes we see that, as I said, where someone does not get a promotion. There are cases where individuals have the N-word used against them, or negative connotations like that, innuendo like that, referring to African Americans as lazy, or they just don't want to work like everybody else, or making just negative terms and even very disturbing terms about them. Recent cases that we saw had nooses hung in the mines, or we even had a time where the noose itself was hung in a storage facility at a warehouse. So you're gonna see these types of things from time to time. It doesn't happen that often. It's sort of really bad when it comes to that, but it's important for people who have experienced those issues to communicate with their employers and make an effort to talk to human resources or their supervisors about this type of issue. Now, I will tell you that sometimes supervisors can be complicit in the racism. Sometimes supervisors can be less interested or dismissive about these issues. Well, if you find that to be the case, go to the next level up. Go to HR, Human Resources, and talk to someone there. Make your voice heard. Now, what happens if someone does not discuss these issues with you or does not work with you about these issues? Then it needs to go to another level, and that's where we talk about the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That's where, if you're in Pennsylvania, we might talk about the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. There's local municipalities that also have discrimination statutes in place that you can avail yourself of. If you're in West Virginia, that might be the West Virginia Human Rights Act, also the EEOC. You can move in those directions as well. So that's sort of race-based issues there, but it's also issues related to gender discrimination, sexual harassment, all of those things all of that discriminatory conduct sort of follows that same avenue. You must take the issue to your employer. Don't keep it inside. Well, you might say, Jeremy, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired if I do that. Well, if you don't do it and then you do get fired, It's much more difficult to make a case against your employer when you feel like that you're not able to go to them and communicate with them. It's really a difficult situation to run into. So I always advocate that people tell more, communicate more with the employer about these issues. If it's gender-based discrimination, sometimes, like I said, women will experience Equal Pay Act issues. Sometimes women and men are sexually harassed on the job. All of those things fall under the issue of discrimination. There's times when individuals find that they're experiencing ageism on the job. They're saying that, you know, we're looking for somebody with a longer runway, or we really need to get rid of grandpa. That is an issue. You know, we've talked about disability issues before, but we sort of wanted to get into some of these other areas. And of course, we can't do everything today in this video, but we wanted to share some of this information with you. If you're finding you're in this position, I urge you to reach out not only to your employer, but also get some advice. Contact Donhamlaw. We're here available to you. If you're in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, glad to speak to you. There's other law firms that we can refer you to if you're in Maryland or Virginia or another location. So we want to help you any way that we can. I also stress that you can go to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. You can go online, eeoc.gov, and you can fill out a charge online. And those great people there will try to do whatever they can to help you, as well as at some of these other agencies. So that's going to be all for today. We wanted to cover some of that information because while we can't do everything in a broad, or excuse me, in a specific, really specific way here, it's more broad or general here. We do want to give you enough information to help you to know that it's not right if you're being discriminated against on the job. You need to be able to work your job, go home at night, and experience the peace in your life that you deserve. And if you're not experiencing that, then you need to get the help so that people can try to work with you and resolve these issues. And if they won't do it at work, then it might lead into, unfortunately, a lawsuit. And I'm going to be talking about that in another video, how to sue your employer and why you might sue the employer. So we appreciate you reaching out to us. We ask you to subscribe to our channel. If you're enjoying this information, let us know about it in the comments section below. If you don't like it, then give us a thumbs down, I guess. But nevertheless, we hope that you'll enjoy it. We hope we're bringing something to you that makes sense. Anyway, so thank you very much for your time. That's all for today at LegalNoggin. Take care.